as we inch closer to the start of baseball. So apparently, Max Scherzer is ready to go. He is going deep. DeGrom looks good. Judge looks good. Baseball's almost here. All right, listen. Something that happened on Friday night that I know that all you guys will care about. Yep. All right, that we've got to get into out of the shoot here. There's two things. Maybe there's a third one, but to me, Teague, there's two things we do not accept in this town as fans. All right, number one. A lack of effort or insubordination from players.
Yes.
That's obvious. And number two, a coach telling us how to comport ourselves. No, I'm serious. And that happened on Friday. I want to play something from Tom Thibodeau. This is not about the Knicks. This is a bigger conversation. This was Thibs after the win against Miami on Friday.
You guys are like trying to nitpick this, nitpick that. But you need everyone over the course of the season. It's a team. It's not an individual thing. It's, you can't just pick up a box score after and say, like the thing is like, how many people are watching the game after the game is played to really know exactly what happened in the game. So like I see a lot of opinions, but I don't see a lot of people doing the work to actually study it.
All right, well, first of all, you don't know what we're doing.
Yeah.
But I also know I'm not a coach. So, no, I'm not doing the work that you're doing. Get your job. Just like you're not getting ready for a radio show, right, Teak?
Yeah, but still, it's insulting.
It is insulting because, what he's talking about here is his direction and his energy is a big swing and a miss. Listen, I'm not saying there aren't people, lunatics, who get on social media, talk about offensive philosophy concepts. Yeah, okay. That's not our complaint with the Knicks this year, all right? It has been about not holding Randall and others to the same standard as everybody. And number two, when you really think about this, stunting the growth of the young players. Tom Thibodeau, I respect, I do, I really do. But, Parcells earned the right to do that, what he just said. Coughlin could do that. Joe Torre could do that. Bobby V could do that to an extent. Mike Keenan, Van Gundy, Thibs. I don't want to hear it from Tom Thibodeau. I don't want to hear it.
The problem with Tom Thibodeau is that he hasn't won anything. And for even though last year was a little bit different, this season is proving to be like his history has shown us it's going to be. Maybe he's going to get a pop at some point. It'll be 2 years, maybe 3 years as it was in Chicago. But eventually something's going to go awry, whether it's him running the players ragged, whether it's him falling out of favor with somebody in power, whether it's now combating the media. And again, I didn't play basketball, but I watch a lot of basketball, just like you watch a lot of basketball. And the one thing that you can see without having to go restudy a tape is a guy taking meaningful, important shots? Is a guy loafing up and down the court? Is a guy sharing the rock with his teammates? Is a guy making his free throws? Like simple things that you don't have to be an expert on basketball in order to figure out and talk about and give criticism for. And by the way, I know he was specifically talking about those on social media and by extension, those in the media, maybe in the press room. He's trying to talk directly to some of those reporters. But it's also the analysts who say the same stuff about the Knicks and how he's coaching these Knicks and his lack of decent rotation and development of these young players. It's not just those who he's attacking. It's everybody who's saying those same things about the Knicks and Tom Thibodeau.
Now, listen, let's not get this twisted. All right, Joe Judge talked himself out of the Giants' job.
No doubt about it. They were keeping him until the end of the season.
Yes, Joe Judge was not doing a good job, but Joe Judge didn't have a lot to work with. We all get that. But the more Joe Judge spoke, the more he dug. He just dug deeper and deeper and deeper. But even all the missteps with Joe Judge at least had this part right.
If we don't play well, every fan has a right to boo my ass out of stadium. Got that? That don't bother me. I don't want it. I don't think anyone wants to get booed, okay? But the reality is, that's all right.
All right, listen, I wasn't a star running back in the NFL. I wasn't a star anything in any sport at the professional level. There's some guys, some guys New York radio, so obviously national. That was their entrance into this field. That was the way they were able to carve out, an impactful existence in this field. I've always viewed myself as really as a liaison to the fan. I am a fan.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's it. I'm a fan. I'm a fan with a microphone, and I represent those who are stepped on. All right, and when I got Tom Thibodeau stepped on us Friday night, and listen, you should have seen me Friday night. Like, I was legitimately pissed, and it's Monday.
He
and
wasn't even talking to you. He was talking to the media.
Well, I'm both. I am a member of the media.
True.
All right. I don't view myself. I am, even though I'm not a journalist per se. We have conversations.
Yeah,
I'm not,
exactly. We're entertaining in some sense.
Hopefully, hopefully we are. But I hear that Friday, and it's I know there's a lot built up in Thibs, and he hears it. Everybody hears it. There's been a lot of negative energy with the Knicks, and rightfully so. But again, this is not a Knicks thing. This is a coach-fan thing.
Yeah. Well,
and you can't do that, dude.
Well,
not when the mistakes are born out of your inability or lack of desire to hold your star player accountable. That's what bothered us the most this year. Randall's ass loafing up and down the court and you not doing a damn thing about it.
Well, so let's cut to the chase then. What does this mean for Tom Thibodeau? Do you think the Knicks are going to move on from Tom Thibodeau? Or is this kind of akin to what Joe Judge was trying to do, trying to talk himself into his job security, I should say, talking himself into job security, and we all know how that worked out for Joe Judge. He talked himself basically out of a job. What's the reason? Because Tom has been quiet. Thibs has been quiet all season long. He hasn't said much about the criticism that's been tossed his way. Why all of a sudden is he now responding to it because they've won a couple of games? Is it simply because they've won a couple of games? I mean, I'm serious. Because when you're going through this slide, nobody wants to hear jack from you. Like when you can't win and your team looks terrible, your rotations are getting questioned, the schemes are getting questioned, your players are getting questioned.
Not playing the kids.
You can't say anything.
Yep.
Right? But then all of a sudden, you get, and that's too little too late, but you get on this little bit of a run. Not that it's been a streak because they lost one in there, but you get a little bit of a run where it's like, all right, the Knicks are playing pretty good. All right. I mean, they blew a big lead, but they still hung on to win in a game earlier in the year they'd lose. Like, he's starting to feel himself, so now he can say these things?
And again, Tiki, I want to be clear. If you guys are just tuning in, trust me, no, we're not leading the show talking about the Knicks beating the Pistons or even Miami on Friday, which was a great way. That's not about that. It is just about the timing. It's really, I guess, a culmination of what's bothered us for a long time. Now, this is where it gets a little delicate here because this is not Kotite. I know he's a Staten Island guy. I'm not trying to diss Kotite. This is not Mickey Callaway, who's a completely different set of circumstances. This is a guy who knows how to coach.
Of course.
And this is a guy that at my core I respect because this is a guy that I know values the Knicks job so much because he was on the staff when we were good. Under Van Gundy, gets it, wants the Knicks to do well. But, you cannot do this without us punching back a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that the relationship's over. I'm not saying this is a slap-off with, like, Chris Rock getting smacked by the way, that was totally real. Don't tell me that was staged. That was real. That was Roddy Piper, Frankie Williams real back in the day. At Columbus, Ohio. That was real. But Thibodeau needs to either dial it back or understand he is venturing into the part of the pool where he might drown. He's not going to win this.
No, you're right.
Because Knicks fans are not feeling Tom Thibodeau right now. And they have it all season.
Well, Knicks fans have a large voice now. And because social media, apparently he's paying attention to this. He's hearing it. New York media, the actual media, they have loud voices. And they've been saying it. And they're hearing it. They're taking an affront to it, just like us, like we are. And so it's a fight you can't win. And the only way to win it is to have ultimate success, right? To be beyond criticism because you're so good. Yeah, you can get criticized because you had a bad day, but it's never going to take over the totality of your existence. And right now, Tom Thibodeau doesn't have that to stand on. He doesn't have the successes, at least here, to stand on. I know last year it is what it was, but they also got destroyed by Atlanta in the postseason. So,
and he ran the veterans into the ground.
That's right.
That's part of the big reason why they weren't ready to compete against the Hawks.
It was a success, but then obviously not. So he hasn't had the successes to stand on a pulpit, a bully pulpit.
I agree.
Where he can tell us what we should be thinking, what we should be saying, simply because you guys don't watch film. I mean, come on.
No, I mean that's
Bush League
a
to
low
say
shot
that.
right
That's
there.
right. It really is.
You know what that's like, Teak? That's like, and I have heard people do this, not anymore, because I think there's more refinement for sure. And I'm not talking about you, the pro athletes who are now on the air. Of
course.
But there was a point, I remember like early when I started going, if I would be in a debate with somebody who played a sport that I obviously didn't play at a high level, they're like, well, what do you know? You didn't play the game. All right, well, conversation's over. I mean, what the hell do you want me to do with that?
If that's
what
the
do
qualifier,
you know? You didn't play in the NFL.
If that's the qualifier, what do you stand on?
Yeah. I mean, I have nowhere to go when you say that, because I didn't play in the NFL. I didn't play in the NBA, I didn't play baseball professionally. So when you say that, it's just mic drop, but not in a good way.
That's right.
And when Tom Thibodeau says
it's an insult,
it's insulting. It's insulting, and when you're insulted on that level, you become infuriated.
That's right.
And you want to fight back.
You feel
even
attacked.
if it's somebody that you kind of like. And I like Thibs.
You feel attacked.
You do.
And
you feel marginalized. You feel
it's belittling. And that's what he's doing. He's like, I know you guys have criticisms, but you guys don't watch film like I do.
What do you guys do? You're not in the lab.
Don't talk to me no more.
Looking at the film, scouring the pick and roll. What do you know? Well, I know when a guy's dragging his ass up and down the court, not getting back on. That I know. You know why? Because I coach kindergartens and first graders, and when they're not running up and down the court, I tell them, hey, guys, let's run up and down the court. Let's hustle. Let's move. That's just not cool. And again, if Parcells dropped this, if Coughlin dropped this, even if Herm Edwards dropped this, if Torrey dropped this, even if Buck Showalter takes this tone this year, first year at the Mets, right? There's enough cachet with Buck based on what he did with the Yankees when they were dead to this elevation before Torrey took him to the championship in 96. I would react so differently if Buck said this. First of all, Buck wouldn't say this. I know he wouldn't.
That's right.
But if he did, he would have more latitude than Thibs to say, or Thibs, however you want to say his name. So I'm a little worked up over this because I took it personally. Yeah, maybe I'm overreacting. I don't think so, though. I think he's playing with fire. You could do that when you win 3 straight games. Nobody cares. The season's been a colossal underachievement. Now, I'll tell you this. You asked me, what's the recourse? I don't know. Leon Rose needs to come out from under his rock. Stop hiding. All right? Their moves have been terrible. And we'll talk about this during the summer, who to draft. That's not the point. You can't do this as a coach without kickback. I don't know. That's just me. What is this? People want to defend? Oh, okay. All right, this is going to be a battle today, dude. I can tell you right away. Don is in Ocean County on the Fan. Don, go ahead, bud. What's going on?
Hey guys, love the show.
Appreciate you, Don.
First time caller.
Thank you, Don.
I just wanted to defend Tom a little. I think it came across to me a little different than I think it came across to you, in that I don't think he's attacking the fan per se. I think he's more attacking the press and the box score. Just look at his numbers and let's say. Like I think the Obi Toppin in the beginning situation and all that kind of like
the number of minutes. The number of minutes versus Randall. Yeah, I hear you.
The number of minutes to his points, it should equal more if let's play him over Randall. Like there's a lot more that goes into a game, and what he's trying to say is that it's not just the final box score, and like not even unless you watch the whole game, even the casual fan is not necessarily watching the whole game. He's watching highlights. He's checking out. He's looking at the box score, but he doesn't see the complete package.
Well, listen, Don, I got you, buddy. And that's an interesting way to look at it. And I think there's some partial truth to that. I do. But, you bring up Obi Toppin, right? Maybe his reaction is rooted in the fact that he knows deep down he made a lot of mistakes this year.
Yes.
And when you know that you mess up, you generally either get defensive or you throw your hands up in the air and you say,
my bad.
I was wrong.
Yeah.
Wow, I misread this. All I know is last week at Charlotte, Obi Toppin played 40 minutes. He had 18 points, 11 rebounds, 6 dimes. Knicks win. The next game at Miami, plays almost 30 minutes, goes 15-8. Randall's back. I know they won. Randall's back. boom, back to 16 minutes. I'm going to criticize that.
Yeah, by the way, it almost happened to Detroit. They almost lost to Detroit.
And I'm going to criticize that what is a precipitous at that point from 40 to 16. Yes, I'm going to get on the coach for sitting down Toppin for a guy who's half-assed it all year. I'm sorry, I'm just going to. I don't care what anybody says.
I think he's also talking to the social media critics because he said it.
Well, then he's wasting time. You can't waste your time with those clowns who never win.
And some of those guys, yeah, maybe they look at box scores. But a lot of them sit and watch Alec Burks at the end of games a month and a half ago, trying to do the same thing over and over, get into the lane, shoot a runner where he's shooting better from three-point range than he was from in the paint. Right? Who says you can't make that up, right? That's actual facts, and that was run out over and over and over and over again. So yes, that's on Tom Thibodeau. Obviously, Alec Burks has got to play better, but still, that's still on Coach Thibodeau, right? The same thing that the latitude that he gave Julius Randle, that's on the coach.
Yeah, he benched Kemba Walker for 9 months. It seemed he comes back, he drops almost 50 points.
That's right.
The first game.
Now Kemba's got deficiencies defensively,
for sure. Yeah,
and that is what it is. But I mean, there's been a lot of things to criticize that obviously will show up and maybe have better explanations on tape. But when you watch it with your own eye,
that's the key point.
It's clear to you.
Yes.
And it's not like you need over-analysis of it.
The criticisms are not without justification.
That's right.
Now, there might be some personalization, which I'm not a fan of. I get that. Personal attacks, I'm not for that unless you attack me. Well, in general, if somebody attacks somebody, yeah, you've got the right to swing back if you want. This is from a sporting point of view. And that is a gross misrepresentation, I believe, of what's transpired this year. The fans, we've done our job. Tom Thibodeau has not been a great coach this year. It's the difference. All right, we're inside of our Town Fair Tire studio, Tiki and Tierney show. We remind you that at Town Fair Tire, you always get the guaranteed lowest prices on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. Phones are lit, 877-337-6666. We'll come back, give you guys a chance to shine. Check this out, by the way. Next hour, I don't know if you guys heard about this. Coach Robert Saleh said something today about the Jets that actually has me really worried. And John Mara said something about the Giants that absolutely has Tiki ready to roll with a strong opinion. We're going to get to it all. The draft is upon us. Let's do it. Calls coming up, tweets as well at Tiki and Tierney here on The Fan.